What's good, Panther Nation? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I am your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. And today we have our guest co-host with us, C. Dougie from What's Up, Doug. And today we're going to recap our Week 8 victory over the Houston Texans.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
go. Doug, what's going on, my brother? How you feeling today, man? How you feeling on this victorious Victory Tuesday?
Yeah, good man. Like I said, I flew back in earlier this morning. Um,
Right.
Still, it was a great weekend overall. Was able to go to the game, be able to see some Panther legends up close, um, able to get in contact with some more Panthers YouTubers, and then spend time with my guy Quan and his family. So overall, it was a great weekend. As you can tell, my voice is still in and out, but it's a good reason. And then, like I said, this win was not just for the Panthers; it was for our mantra, our motto, our fans, and
Right.
just for the culture. That's the word, the culture of keep pounding, man. So great start after off the bye week. So let's continue to keep grinding and keep pushing.
I feel you, man. Hey, today I'm feeling victorious. I know it's not Monday any longer, but we still within that 24 48 hour window, and I'm still feeling kind of hype about it. Now, I know we only just 1-6. We only, we won our first game,
Yes, sir.
but I still think that there was a lot of positives and good things that we can build upon going forward. Now, every week, regardless if you're 6-0 or 0-6, there's always things that you could work on. There's always adjustments to be made. There's always little things that can be tweaked. That there's never a such thing as a perfect game. But I like what I saw. I like what I saw from the play calling from Thomas Brown. I like what I saw, even though it didn't look like it statistically from the running backs. I
Mhm.
like the way they were used. I like Chuba Hubbard coming clutch when we needed him to. I there were just some things I like. Like we mentioned earlier, Jonathan Mingo had a very good productive day.
Productive
So
day.
yeah, I liked how we were aggressive you know. So today I want us to just focus on the positive. Now I know there's definitely some negatives that we can talk about, but today, not today.
I got you.
Today is not one of those days. Let's just keep it all positive, all good energy for our Panthers in a 15-13 victory over the Texans. All
I got
right.
you. I give you that though with that because there's another group that I think a lot of people are trying to focus on between who won us the game. It was a team effort, but you have to shout out Evero because if we shout out Thomas Brown, you have to shout out Evero for the defensive scheme that he set up with one of our weaknesses being run stopping. Yes, I understand Houston
Right.
do not run the ball a lot and they're not efficient with it, but that is our weakness. And whatever he did draw up, it worked because then
Exactly.
we were able to apply pressure to CJ Stroud. And you can tell CJ Stroud was different once we stepped in the first time with Frankie Louvu. So that's where I think, that's another positive trend in the right direction with another talented back coming into the bank next week where we can, see how this defense matches up in the run game.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, I think for me, um, I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving Ivero his props. I
Mhm.
just looked at it that this was Thomas Brown's first ever opportunity to
Correct.
call plays, and I
Correct.
think that the offensive game plan kind of caught up with the defensive game plan, which in turn, what I mean by that is it gave the defense time to breathe, time to um, get the energy back. Take a breather in between series. It wasn't like three and out. Now they right back. Right back on the field, or a turnover. Now they right back on the field. You know, the offense didn't really put them in bad positions. Yesterday. I mean, Sunday. So I think that the offense kind of caught up with the defense per se, and special teams has always been solid the whole season. So it was
Favorite.
complimentary football around the board Sunday. So that's what I like. Even like I say, even though there was some things that could be worked on, I think
Correct.
this was the first time in a while that we saw the Panthers play good ball in all three phases of the game.
And like you said, I'm gonna stay positive because I said I was at the game. So with the takes, it's not really negative, but it is important with some of the takes that you put together. But for me,
Right.
another one is the defense played well. With the defense playing well, we didn't really get a turnover until the one time when Dante Jackson punched the ball out and Xavier Woods picked it up and we got a field goal. Other than that, we never had a short field all game. So Thomas Brown being a first year in the NFL as an offensive coordinator and calling his first game,
Right.
most of our drives had to go 80 or 90 plus yards. We never had a 40-yard drive where, it's a short field. It was always the length of the field. And it just
But
goes to
we
show.
did a couple times. We did a couple times. Raheem Blackshear put us in great field
But
position
that's
a
one. But I
couple
would say when
times.
the
Yeah.
defense flipped the field, I would say we never
Okay.
really had
Right.
a big advantage in field position. But that is right. When Raheem Blackshear did get the punt return, we thought he was going to the house. But that was another indication where we definitely needed good field position. But my hats goes off, and I'm glad Thomas Brown got a game ball and Bryce got one because that 91-yard drive for a game-winning field goal with Eddie P, you couldn't draw that up any better because again, for a rookie to
That
come,
was awesome.
like I said, for a rookie to come in, and then it was some bad calls that they missed on that drive or the drive before when Bryce should have got a personal foul, late hit penalty. Um,
Yeah.
it just shows the poise, like Adam Thielen said in the locker room, the poise that this young man has that most veterans don't have. But again, it's a
Right.
trend in the right direction. Like Tony said, everything is not going to be golden right out the box, but you do possibly see the good out of a win going against the Houston Texans, which are a tough team. They're a tough team.
Right. And before we go and look at the stats from Sunday, let's not gloss over the fact that last drive, that 91-yard drive,
Hmm.
took 6.5 minutes off the clock. Like the Texans did not get the ball back. We took 6.5 minutes, the last 6.5 minutes of the fourth quarter, down to the last 3 seconds for Pinero to kick the field goal.
Eddie P.
Yeah. So, hey, kudos to Thomas Brown, Bryce Young, the whole offense, and everything. But we're gonna get into some look at the stats real quick from the game Sunday, and you tell me what stands out to you about the stat line.
For me, being there, penalties. One thing that has hurt us every single year is penalties. Well, every single week
Right,
has been penalties. As you see, that's that 3 for 20 wasn't bad at all. Um,
right,
one thing that I do know is a big, but again, Bryce is a rookie, so he has to do better with this. Is we had zero turnovers on offense, no fumbles, no
for the
interceptions.
second week, for the second straight week.
So, like I said, yes, he can be indecisive with holding the ball, but I think he's also trying to be very careful where he doesn't force the ball and cause a turnover. Um,
Right,
rushing yards could be better. Tony and I were definitely talking about that. We'll go into Chuba Hubbard, Blackshear, and Miles Sanders when we go into individual. But I would have liked the rushing yards to be better. But other than that,
right,
like I said, the game, I mean, we got the turnover, we got the long turnover. The sacks, like I said, we did give a lot of sacks. We gave up six. So other than that, man, like I said, everything else was clean to me, man. Like I said, the important one is Takeaways, we got one. Did we self-impose ourselves with any turnovers? No, we had zero. And then when you look at the penalties, we really didn't shoot ourselves in the foot a lot. We only had 3 for 20.
Right. And one stat that stands out to me, because I know that we were losing it and it looked like we was going to lose it bad after the first quarter, is it the time of possession. We finished the game, you know, basically controlling the time of possession 30 and a half minutes to they 29 and a half minutes. It didn't look good for us in the first quarter, or even the first half, as far as time of possession. But I think with the second half, with us controlling the clock a little better than what we did,
Mm-hmm.
especially that last drive to win the
Mm-hmm.
game, that last 6.5 minutes, that definitely helped us out. So being able to control the clock, which is something that we haven't been able to really do this season. I think that was another big one for us yesterday. But like you said, Doug, that you also mentioned, Bryce Young didn't have any interceptions or any turnovers, and that's for the second straight week. So when I say we always looking for progress, whether it be incremental or however you want to categorize it, you just always want to see some type of steady progression with this
Correct.
game, because up until Sunday, that's all we really had to hang our hat on, is to see the steady improvement of Bryce Young. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
correct, Tony.
And I feel like we've been saying that weekend. We've been seeing it week in
And
and
we, mm,
week out. Yeah. So let's go to our game leaders for Sunday. So we see, one thing that always bothered me, because we all know that football is the ultimate team sport. And I
mhm.
know for the media and ratings and all that stuff, they always try to pit quarterbacks against each other, as if they're going to tackle, intercept, or something like that with one another. But it's a team sport. But in the in what not fairness, but I guess to make most people happy, that have been looking forward to the CJ Stroud Bryce Young duel. For their first time head to head, Bryce Young wins that duel. You know,
And I was gonna get. I was once you finish that point, I was gonna say one thing people have to understand: CJ Stroud has averaging over 300 yards passing whenever they win. If you see the screen
right?
right there, he only had 146, if I'm not mistaken. No, 140.
140.
Um, and one thing for our quarterback, I've been looking at posts and all this. I see his total up there. He went for 235, but against the Texans blitz, against that D'Amico Ryan's defense, he went 8 for 10, 142 yards, zero interceptions, and a passer rate
Yes,
of 118.8 underneath
and
pressure.
a completion rate of 80%.
So for me, like I said, I can definitely feel Bryce is getting more comfortable. Again, with him being comfortable, he just holds the ball a little bit too long. But other than that, man, like I said,
Right,
you see the transition from the last three games where he was at Detroit, at Miami, and now finally back at home. You can see that he's getting comfortable, and I think this game he needed underneath his belt going into the season. Again, I'm taking this game, but game by game. But there is a pathway for Are we talking? You know what right now? But I want this team to
right,
focus because there. I mean, anything is possible right now. Anything is possible. At the same
mhm,
time, I do love the change of the guard of Chuba Hubbard finally being the lead back. Um, I've been calling for this probably about 2 weeks now. I was actually close to buying a Miles Sanders jersey. Glad I did not do that. But I think Chuba Hubbard and Blackshear could be a great duo. And I'm really ready to see what Tariq Cohen does here at the end of October, beginning of November. Because
yes,
if those three gentlemen are used correctly and we can use them, then there's no reason for Miles Sanders. Also, I don't know if people realize at the beginning of the game, we were rotating the running backs play by play by play. So Chuba had one play, Then Miles Sanders came in for a play. Then Rashi Blackshear came in. So I don't know if people recognize that, but I think if we do that, that human joystick and Tariq Cohen definitely can cause some problems for a couple of defenses.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I definitely me and CJ was talking a few weeks back, and we was like, well, basically after the week 2 or week 3 um of the season, we was like, hey, Chuba looks like running back one right now for us. Each week, even though he had limited amounts of carries,
Mm-hmm.
his production was far and away better than Miles Sanders.
Correct.
And after he had that last fumble against Seattle, or was it against Miami?
No, I don't think Chuba
Can't
fumbled
remember.
at Miami. So
No,
had
not true. But I'm saying after Miles Sanders
oh yeah,
had
man.
that last fumble, we were saying like when I think it was against the Dolphins, because we
But
were
no,
saying
he didn't play against the Dolphins, so it was Detroit.
who Miles Sanders didn't play
Yeah,
against the
Miles
Dolphins.
Sanders didn't get play against the Dolphins. I didn't think so
Huh.
because
Okay.
you remember Chuba started and they said he gonna get bulk of the carries. But I think you're talking about the Detroit game.
You're right. You're right. He did because he had 19 carries for 88 yards.
That that
But
that
okay,
that's,
yeah,
that's a Detroit game. I know exactly what the fumble you talking about because everybody was like, "Why are we paying this man?"
yeah. But either way, I was just saying that I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Chuba is the starting running back after the bye week, and that held
On
true.
the road,
And
on the road.
yeah, I think that's where I think that's where Carolina should be headed, going forward. But
That's
let's talk about the offense a little bit, and then we'll get into the defense. From the offensive side, there was a few guys that I wanted to mention that we've kind of already mentioned. But Bryce Young gets his first victory, first home victory, and his first comeback victory, all in the same game
correct.
against the Texans.
Correct.
We've already looked at his numbers: 22 or 31 for 235 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, and that comes out to about 7.5 yards per pass play. Um, I think he looked poised. He always looks poised. Let me just say that he always looks poised. The one thing I will say, and I'm not going to speak negative, but it's just I, I I can't help but to not mention it. Somebody needs to wind that internal clock up in
Right.
his brain from 10 seconds to about 3.5 seconds. You know what I mean? He needs to realize that this is not Alabama, this is not SEC. He doesn't have the comfort of having that SEC line in front of him. I mean, I love him standing tall in the pocket and being poised, but I also don't want him to get killed. Okay. So
I'm,
that's my thing on
that's
Bryce. And Chuba Hubbard was clutch when needed. 15 carry for 28 yards, only 1.9 yards per carry. But I think this was one game where Chuba was probably the most clutch at any time in his career, because I say that when we needed him to get the tough yards, when we needed him to get a first down, when we need him to make a catch,
he
he
did.
did all those things. Even when we needed him to make a block, even though he got trucked that one time by Ward, but he still stood tall. You know what I mean? He still stood tall, and he took the blunt of that block. So yeah, I think Chuba Hubbard had a good day despite what the numbers say. Adam Thielen is him once again, 8 catches for 72 yards, 9 yards per catch average. Raheem Blackshear, he should never be inactive again.
Yeah.
Ever. He should never be inactive again. He had 3 kickoff returns for 107 yards. That's a 35.7 yards per run back average. Okay. He looked good catching the ball out the backfield. He hits the hole, with the quickness and with authority. Now he didn't have a great day running the ball, but he wasn't hesitant as
You
well.
saw the explosiveness with the runs, even though they didn't really go anywhere. You saw at least some
Right.
explosiveness.
and Jonathan Mingo looked like a veteran wide receiver
Gonna
out
take,
there.
y'all just say you're gonna take mine. That's the one for me. Jonathan Mingo. I think I was sitting there watching the game and I'm like, Thomas Brown wanted Bryce Young. Did we possibly draft Jonathan Mingo because Thomas Brown saw his potential in his offense? Because statistically, and if y'all saw the routes that Jonathan Mingo was running, this was his best game as a pro. Yes, he's
Yes,
still a rookie. He's still a rookie, but at the same time, that was the best game that I did seen that man or young man play so far in the league, and it was good to see. We also saw him last night. Shout out to my guy Quan, youth 11 team, the Miller Creek Chargers. Jonathan Mingo and Jamie Robinson were honorary captains for both of the Pop Warner League teams last night, so we were able to see him on the sideline. You know, he didn't really say too much, but just to see the involvement with the community, man. Like I said, I really like Jonathan Mingo. I like his story. I think if he can continue to transition into possibly being a wide receiver too, that helps because
right.
DJ Chark, nothing against him, but Adam Thielen is one. Mingo just needs to get comfortable and get acclimated with the speed of the game.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I went back and I watched the route that he ran on that 40-yard reception that he had. And on that route, I'm gonna throw one name out there to you. And he did something that I hadn't seen Jonathan Mingo do. But whoever is coaching him right now, and I know Sean Jefferson is the wide receiver coach, but he did something that there's only one other wide receiver I see in the league really do, and he's a master at it. When Jonathan Mingo came off the line and the corner was playing off of him a little bit, he wasn't no press man, nothing like that. He was like playing off on him. And when Jonathan Mingo pressed him,
Mm-hmm.
he dipped his shoulder. He dipped his left shoulder. And some people will probably say, well, what does that mean? Well, what that mean for a wide receiver, even when they're coming off the line, even with press man, off man, when you dip your left shoulder, what you're doing is eliminating the surface to DB could put his hands on you. And when he dipped his left shoulder, he kept moving forward. And as soon as he straightened out, the cornerback was already beat. And
Correct.
he gave him that inside look like this, like he was going to the inside and stem back outside, automatically created 3 or 4 yards of separation. The only other person I can see that I see do that consistently,
That's who.
mastered it, is Cooper Cup.
Okay.
Cooper Cup. If you ever go and watch Cooper Cup run a route, he has a whole tutorial on route running on YouTube. That is one of the things that he talks about and works on when he's coming off the line of scrimmage. Dipping that shoulder eliminates and makes the surface for a cornerback to try to put their hands on you so small to where they like literally can't touch you.
Yeah.
And man, he got that corner on his hip, and right then and there it was over. It was
Yeah.
over. And
Like I
I
said,
I, I just wanted to point that out.
Jonathan Mingo, like I said, Jonathan Mingo had a game that opened my eyes and was like, okay, let's see what you do next week whenever we play Indy. Because you can't have a good game and then you have a bad game. I need you to build on games and then go from there. So that's a
That's right.
play
That's
that I'm
right.
gonna be looking forward to with us playing Indy here at home on Sunday. So if he builds off of it, we possibly got something here. We possibly got
But
something.
don't you think that this game was this this game that we just had against the Texans, that he would use that game as a catalyst to help build his confidence going forward? Like he probably realized, like, I can really do this in this league.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that he had the best game he's ever going to have, but he had his best game thus far. He looked nothing like he looked the first 5 6 weeks of the season. He looked like a totally different player
He
out
did.
there Sunday than he has all season long thus far.
That's a fact, Tony. That's a fact.
Okay. All right. So listen, we're gonna transition. We're gonna move on over to the defense. So defensively, I mean, there's a couple people that we can shout out. I think Xavier Woods had a good day returning from an injury.
Dante
Dante Jack,
Jackson had a good one.
yeah, CJ Henderson, they both had good days. You know,
I'll
that's
say CJ had a decent game because that pass where Stroud just missed him in stride, that could have
mhm.
been a game changer because CJ Harrison was beat off the line, like blatant. Like he didn't put no hands on him, nothing. He was just beat at the line. So I would give CJ overall. I'll give him a B minus. I'll give him a B minus, which is still passing grade and it's above a C, but I give him
What would you give Dante?
a solid B.
A solid B. I mean, hey, I take that. That's both good grades for both of those guys, especially at the same time. Like
I
how often, how many times have we said that they both had a good game
Good
or a
game.
solid game?
See,
Yeah, at the
I said
same time.
the only person that would get an A plus is Frankie Louvu. He played out his mind. Anybody would do the same thing, playing in front of your mom. And if everybody knows the
Yes.
story, you know he's finally an American citizen. But the Hawaiian culture, the Samoan culture, they he's big on that. So I don't really know exactly the location of his mom, but I didn't see her in the stadium. But I reading up and looking at pictures and articles, that was a major shout out to Mama Dukes because she
Yeah.
gave him extra energy. And then when you go down the line, I will give Brian Burns a B plus. Only reason I won't give him an A, I told Tony that he whiffed at a couple of tackles that I did not like. He could have had a
Yeah.
couple
He
of big
did.
tackles for loss, and his tackling technique was not great at all. Um, so for me, it was like you trying to get 30 mil, you can't be doing stuff like this, and you think you're getting 30 mil, it don't look good. It does not look good.
Right.
Like I said, the
Right.
sack that he got was very timely, and we needed it. We definitely needed it. Um,
Yeah.
Two other people, DJ Johnson, solid B, solid B. He set the edge. He definitely got time to play because YGM is out. But again, every time he
Right.
was in, I think he did make some type of flash or some type of noise. And the last one I got,
Right.
I would give Jamie Robinson a B minus. That's another rookie that was able to see some clock. He played in the nickel corner position, and he also delivered a couple of big hits and great coverage, a couple of throws. So, like I
He
said,
did.
I mean, the defense overall, if we look at it, that could average out to B minus, B plus against a high powered and Houston Texas team because Tank Dell is a problem. Tank Dell is a
Yeah.
problem. Tank
Yes,
Dell is
he is. Yes,
fast.
he is.
Nico Collins was kind of shut down. He's a bit body receiver. They didn't really use Mechie like they should have. And then you still do have
Yeah, I was shocked about that. I was
yeah,
shocked.
I was shocked about that as well. How they didn't use Mechie, and then you got two quality bats in Pierce and Singletary. So, like I said, I would definitely give our defense a solid B plus, a B minus. The best a B plus, the worst a B minus.
I'm gonna mention something. I'm surprised you didn't tap into it. I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but the defensive front to me was stout. That
So, so
we
as a
was stout
unit,
yesterday. Like
yeah,
no big runs up the middle, which we have given up, every week thus far this season. They played tough in goal line situations. Now the couple big plays, the big runs that I don't call them big runs because there was no run over 20 yards, but there were times where we had the running back. We even had Tank Dell one time in the backfield for a tackle for loss, and we let him escape.
yep,
And that goes back to what you was talking about earlier when it comes down to the tackling. Now that's something that we've been talking about with the Panthers for the past year or two. It's like the tackling is never consistent.
never
We
gonna say
need to be
always terrible.
consistent with the tackling. But I have to give a shout out to the big boys up the middle, especially Deshaun Williams. He did his thing yesterday. You didn't hear really much anything about Shy Tuttle, but Deshaun Williams,
Number
Derek
93.
Brown. Yeah, LeBron Ray.
That joke is
Yeah,
huge. Ray is huge.
yeah, yes, he is. They did their thing. So I had to give them. I had to tip my hat off to them
We
and
had
give them a
five
shout
batted
out.
balls at the line of scrimmage against CJ Stroud. So that was another big thing too.
Yeah, three. You said three,
Five.
five batted balls.
Five batted
Oh,
balls.
when you include Frankie Louvu, because Frankie
Yeah.
Louvu had like two or three.
Well, he had two.
Yeah, he had two. Derek Brown had one.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Williams had one or two.
He had one, and then the boy from Alabama, Ray had one.
Oh, Ray had one. Okay, yeah. So how many did Bryce Young have?
I don't think he. I think he had zero from my seeing.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what he had. I just wanted to put it on record that Bryce Young at
Yeah.
5'10" had zero batted balls to CJ Stroud, who was what,
Yeah.
6'3",
6'3".
6'3", 6'4",
Correct.
had five batted balls at the line of scrimmage. I just want to throw that out there, just in case anybody is listening and was wondering, about that particular statistic. But yeah, um, so overall, you give the defense.
I get. I'll say I just go with B minus
Okay. Well, what about the offense?
as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole. Come
Offensive
on, I keep it 100.
offensive line gets a D. So I'm gonna break it down how I get the. I'm gonna break it down. Offensive line gets a D. I don't know what John um, Capen has done, but that offensive line has to get it together. They have to get it together. One of the strongest positions on this team has regressed dramatically and drastically. Like that is not okay. And like I said, for open lanes and all that, we need this offensive line to get it together. So offensive line
Yeah.
I give D. Wide receivers.
So you breaking it down by position group.
No, no, I'm gonna give it because I don't. If I give you a grade, I want to at least break it down by position so you can understand how I get it to the
Okay.
overall. So I give him a D on D line. I mean, offensive line. I will give it a minus for wide receivers. The reason why I give wide receivers
Okay.
an A minus is because the route tree that Thomas Brown had, they were open. They were open several times. Bryce just panicked. Like we said, he panicked and he patted the ball a little bit, thought he could stay back there for more than 5 to 7 seconds and did not look for his second read. But again, with Adam Thielen having critical catches, that was big for that drive. What Jonathan Mingo was able to do on that drive or throughout the game was great as well. We did have
Right.
DJ Chark catch a couple as well, and what else?
Ooh, but what about that drop he had that hit him right in the hands?
Who?
DJ Chark, the one on the sidelines.
I thought I went because
It looks like the defensive back touched it, but he didn't. It hit Chark right in the hands and he dropped it.
So, like I said, yeah, yeah. So, like I said, the good and the
La-
bad, the good and the bad. But
Yeah.
like I said, Adam Thielen and Jonathan Mingo definitely made
Right.
this grade be a low A. Tight ends, I would give tight ends a solid B. Sullivan and Tommy
Tommy
Tremble
Tremor.
definitely showed out. I don't know
Yes.
what's going on with Hayden Hurst when we needed him on that last drive and the ball hit him in the hands. I was like, hold on, something's not right. Something is not right. So then our quarterback, I would give Bryce Young a B minus.
I can go.
Only,
I can. Yeah, I can agree with
only
that.
reason why I give him a B minus again, he got sacked 6 times. 3 of those sacks were because of Bryce holding the ball.
Yes, it
So
was. I'm
that's
glad you said that, and I noticed that, and I hope other people realize that too. All six of those sacks were not on the offensive line.
it was not, like I said, 2 of those sacks, the offense was not on the far end of the field. They were on the side of the field that we were at. So you were able to see it and you were able to see the lanes that the wide receivers are trying to open up. So with that, that gives me about a because you got a D, a B, a D. How let me go? A quarterback. Quarterback, you got a B minus. I didn't do running backs. Running backs, I give about a B. Like Tony said, Chuba Hubbard definitely responded when we needed to get those tough yards.
Right.
Blackshear definitely helps the grade on special teams. He is a running back. He flipped the field several times for us. Um, Miles Sanders only had, I think, 2 rushes for 10 yards. That ain't nothing. So overall, I'll give our running backs a B. So right now we're sitting at a B. O line gave us a D, so we go down probably with a C minus. What helps is the wide receivers got about a B, solid B, B plus. So we're back at a B minus, and then with the tight ends, that's a B. So we're about a B minus, but I'll give it a B plus because that 91-yard drive they had to do. So I give our offense a B plus.
Yeah, because without that drive, we lose.
Correct. And then
Yeah, without that
coaching,
drive.
I'm gonna throw one in there. Coaching, both coaches at least get a solid B. Like I said, overall B for the whole game. B.
I have to get the coaches a solid A.
Okay.
I have to give him an A because Thomas Brown did exactly what we was hoping and looking forward to and been calling for the past 6 7 weeks, what have you. Frank Wright, I know it was hard for him to give up the play calling, but he did it and he didn't interfere with it. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? So that was a whole different role for him. I know it was a hard pill to swallow, but he swallowed it. He let Thomas Brown do his thing, and then Ivero did his thing. So I have to give the coaches as far as how they handled the game and the game plan on both sides of the ball. I have to give it an A.
Okay.
I have to give it an A. And Eddie P with the walk off field goal to seal the game, man.
Yeah,
You gotta love it.
Taper is a great special teams coach, a phenomenal special teams coach.
Yeah, Chris Tabor. Yeah, yeah, he is. He is. I'm glad we have him, and I'm glad that he recommended Eddie Pinero. Now I hate that
Correct.
Zane Gonzalez got hurt, and then we traded him away or whatnot. But Eddie Pinero, ever since that game against Atlanta last year, he's been pretty clutch for us ever since then.
That
So
Miami field goal was kind of tough, but him hitting that game winner at home for the first win, that was a big one.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, look, man. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Your man tired. I'm tired. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's bittersweet leaving North Carolina, even though I grew up in Greensboro. Like I said, I was at the airport this morning. I was like, darn, like this is my last home game of the season right now that I have scheduled. Um, it's a long season. It didn't start out great, but one thing that I know is the race is not given to the swift; it's given to the ones that endure to the end. And I definitely want this
Right.
team to endure to the end. I want this team to keep pushing, keep getting better by the day. And like I said, the product that we're going to have on the field, I think is going to come out golden. We just got to be patient, and it's going to be hard, but I just really need our front office to make the right decisions. Do I trust them? No, I don't. But that's another story for another day. But again, I appreciate all the support. What's up, Doug? I appreciate Tony and CJ bringing me on, man. Again, I had a ball back home. Um, but now it's time for us to look forward to the Texans. I mean, to the Colts. You got the Texans out the way. Let's go ahead and hit 2 in a row and get ready for that Thursday night game against Chicago, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you for watching Two Fans in the Stands with Tony and CJ. Thank you to our guest co-host C Dougie from What's Up Doug. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn that post notification bell. Until then, Panthers Nation, keep pounding.